Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at very spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are reviewing The Last Matinee. All right. Yes, joining me tonight is the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I love matinees. I'm doing good.
Awesome.
I got a matinee. I'm doing good.
Awesome sauce. All right. Also joining us this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
Okay, I'm great, thanks. But what is a matinee? Is a matinee like a certain time?
Yeah.
That the movie
afternoon.
is shown?
You don't know what a matinee is?
No, not exactly.
You raised in a bomb shelter?
I don't go to the
Don't answer that.
often.
Don't answer that.
Yeah. I'm like, but that
Supposed to be
isn't a
daytime,
matinee,
but
right?
No.
This isn't-
Yeah, so I
okay.
don't.
Okay, I just wanted to make it clear so that I knew what was
Something may have gotten lost in translation.
Yeah, I think they're using a generalized version
Matinee.
of that.
Yeah.
Just something. All right. Also joining us is guest star, award-winning filmmaker, Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
Look how pretty all the black and white looks.
I know.
Looks good.
I'm
so
doing great.
themed.
Doing great in my little Beetlejuice room.
Beetlejuice. Don't say
I'm
But
gonna
that.
the
I'm gonna go watch a
headphones and
matinee
glasses.
tomorrow.
Hey, there is a good movie coming out, but I don't. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You never heard of matinee prices?
No,
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
go to the theater.
That's the cheaper. The
often.
cheaper.
They're always
movie
cheaper.
Tickets are cheaper during the
Oh,
day
well,
before like 5 or 6. You can get cheaper movie tickets. So that's the matinee prices.
Well, that's something to remember.
The more you know.
When I,
Do-do-do-do.
I had a shirt on like that today. Jeez.
Ba-dum, bum. All
He
right.
only comes out at night, so.
There's a song in there somewhere. All right. We are going to review The Last Matinee. We're going to give our first impression of the film, and that will be spoiler-free. And then we'll get into a discussion, which we will get into spoilers, so keep that in mind. And then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score, 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Oh, boy. This is going to have some crazy, crazy favorite scenes, I am certain. All right, what film are we talking about? We are talking about The Last Matinee, coming from Dark Star Pictures and Bloody Disgusting. It's going to be on demand, DVD, and digital on August 24th of 2021, directed by Maxi Contenti, and written by Manuel, Facal, and Maxi Contenti, which is also Maximiliano. I don't know why I have the abbreviated name, but hey, that's fine. The cast includes Luciana Grasso, Ricardo Islas or Islas. Yes, thank you. I think that's right. Julieta Spinelli, Franco Duran, and Pedro Duart. One of those two. I'm pretty sure it's one of those two.
Duart.
Unless everything's silent and it's just art. All right, so synopsis. The audience attending the last showing of a horror film in a small downtown cinema are terrorized by a murderer who begins to pick them off one by one. The only person to notice that something strange is going on is the projectionist's daughter. Yes, who happens to be a projectionist herself, to be fair. All right, let's do this. Let's give our first
That was a
impressions,
look.
and let's start off with our guest host, Christopher G. Mohr.
I loved it. I thought it was a really cool film. It's I never knew that I needed to see an Argentinian Giallo film. This definitely falls into that realm. And it has a few really good kills in it as well. And some really nice sort of visual flourishes. But yeah, I thought it was a really interesting story, especially it went along. We have an interesting killer. I think my main critique is there's a few of the things with like action where the stuff edited together doesn't flow really well in a few places. But then there's also a few places it feels like if you've ever been to you've heard of like people go to film school and stuff. There's like Battleship Potemkin editing and so on certain parts that with people going down the stairs and stuff that kind of remind me of that well-known scene that if you take an editing class, they always talk about. The Untouchables kind of does a parody, does a thing of that. But yeah, I thought it was a really interesting, cool story that, and as someone that actually worked at a movie theater when I was younger and managed a movie theater for 2 years, I remember having to, those old, before they went digital, having to put if the film broke, you had to put it back together and screen it and stuff like that. So it brought back a lot of good memories. So I love a good horror film that happens in a movie theater. If you remember not too long ago, I liked the film Porno that we reviewed. So yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. It had some interesting characters. And again, there's some, I would say 3 or 4 kills that I think Jason would be jealous of. Some really sort of inventive ways that this guy killed. I mean, otherwise he goes full Giallo with the knife and stuff and does that kind of thing. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the film. I think it was a really, really cool film that made me just drew me in from beginning to end.
Is Doc? Did we lose him?
Are you frozen, Doc?
He's really intensely understanding
he's like,
what I just said.
Considering
he's really into what I was
about.
saying.
Yeah.
Too much sushi, I guess.
He's like, well.
Well, I'm going to throw something out there. So we're in this matinee, and they're watching a movie, and the movie is Frankenstein, Day of the Beast, and I thought there must be a connection. And I just figured it out. The guy who plays the killer in this movie, Ricardo Islas, is the director of Frankenstein, Day of the Dead.
Well,
yes.
I could understand why he would be poking people's eyes
awesome.
for watching it.
Yes,
So
yes.
funny. Oh,
And
my
I don't think we're giving something away if I translate
no.
something. His name is Asesino Comillojos, which translates to eye-eating killer. So,
wow.
when they put that right in his name, I don't think that's giving it away.
Oh, wow.
Well, plus there's really no, and I think by you mentioning that, there's really no background why he does what he does either. So it's more of an in joke than anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
I can't switch us to the big screen, but let's go, Crystal. What are your first impressions?
Okay, so I love this movie too. I think this movie is so beautiful. As I started watching it, I was like, God, I really love that shot. I really love the colors. I think that the location is amazing. The theater that they shot in is perfect for this. It actually, like, the only thing that I would warn people against is, like, there is, like, a lot of strobing lights at one point. So if that bothers you, just be a little prepared for that. But it is so pretty. I mean, it was almost so pretty I was distracted at points because I was like, oh, I really love that shot. Oh, I love that shot. But yes, it's a total slasher film. Be a little prepared because you don't get your first kill for 25 minutes in, and even still it's a background kill. But I wasn't bored. I enjoyed what we were watching. I enjoyed, how we were learning about the characters, and I really thought some of them were funny. Like is he the manager, the dude that works at the theater with the cigarettes? I don't know.
I think so.
It's like you kind of hate him, but he's also kind of funny. The daughter's great. You've got this cute little kid and this group of teenagers who are kind of weird, and I totally get that, going to the theater as a group. I think the kills were great. Some of the gore was most of it was good, but the eyes out, I don't mind. I liked it. I really think that they did a great job on this film. I know that sometimes we do lose some things in translation, but I feel like the story came across really well. Well, what there was of the story, which was really just character development. Right. But yeah, I enjoyed it. like I said, some of the shots I watched, and I was like, oh, I like it. It's so pretty. And I learned about how to tape video or tape film back together or something. Actually,
Yes,
I
yes.
think that was a little great scene that they did on top of the other one. They had at a point
Mhm.
it ramps up, the action ramps up, and it all kind of starts happening. And from that point on, it's a lot more fun. But
Yes.
yeah, I also really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful film. I think people should definitely check it out.
Definitely. The gnarly continues to rise as well. The internet allowed me to come back. Welcome.
Yay!
Thank you. Did Jeff get to go, or Crystal, were you next?
No, it was just
All
me.
right,
Yeah.
Jeff, give us your first impression of The Last Matinee.
Yeah, and so just to fill you in really quickly, we discovered a connection. Ricardo Islas, who plays the killer in this, was a director of Frankenstein, Day of the Beast,
Ah,
the
Which
movie
is the-
within the movie.
So funny.
Anyway.
that makes sense.
So yeah, that's what we thought. Anyway, I love this movie too. The one thing that threw me a little bit, and I think Chris was kind of talking about this, was there was a couple of sort of action or I don't know, violent scenes where the editing seemed off, at least with the sound effect. Something was off, you know. Either the sound effect didn't seem right, but considering the overall entity of the movie, it's minor. I absolutely love this, and it just kept ramping it up for me. There's some really cool stuff that the filmmakers do where they have neat visual scenes in the early part of the movie that they recreate later on with much more disturbing
Yes.
visuals, which is really kind of cool. And I also like that the characters, they make what I would consider to be logical decisions for the most part. You know, they don't do dumb stuff to get caught or trapped or whatever. And it was kind of cool how, you know, a sparsely seated theater, and I worked at a theater too, and I don't know what the guy's job title was, but when I worked in the theater, which wasn't in 1993, it was like 1970, you had a doorman, the ticket girl. Yeah, the doorman was like the guy in charge that night, and he took the tickets. And the ticket girl, the candy girl, and the usher. And the usher never ushered. The usher just did whatever the doorman told him to do and helped out at the candy counter or the concessions when it was busy. And did the heavy stuff. Had to go into bait. So anyway, I'm going too much into my nobody gives a shit how much a bag of popcorn weighs, and you got to carry it up the stairs from the basement. Anyway, so I love this. So in my world, the guy with the cigarettes would have been the doorman, and the projectionist. I forgot the projectionist, but that was I enjoyed the hell out of that. I don't know what to say. Lots of gore, good action, good movement, a lot of neat layout of the theater, and just good production design.
Yeah. So the guy with the cigarettes, Mauricio, the one that she thought was at the door all the time, never was, right?
Yes, that would be him.
That would be him. All right, I just want to make sure because there was a couple cigarettes in there. I had a great time with this too. It's very much a slasher film. It's very much a Giallo film, and it's very sparse on plot. It's basically this group of people come to a theater, this killer shows up, and go. And there's not much else to it. There's a little character thing going on, enough maybe. So if you want Shakespeare, no, you're not going to get a heady film here. You're going to get visceral. You're going to get kills, and all these people are targets. It's a Friday the 13th film in a lot of ways, and our killer is really weird at first. It's kind of like, what is this guy? But then once you get what he's doing, it gets really interesting. I think the killer gets. I didn't like him at first. I just put it that way. But by the end of the film, I was like, yeah, man, this guy's something else. And yeah, there's some. I always thought it was just De Palma shots on the stairs, but you're saying, Christopher, that's actually a technique from De Palma. Go figure. Stole that from somewhere else.
Yeah, there's actually there's an older black and white film called Battleship Potemkin. That there's this famous
film. Yeah.
I think it's a silent film. I actually watched it when I took a film class in college, but it's a well-known film that people look at it for editing wise, and it has like the baby carriage going down the stairs and stuff. I think what was it? There was a parody movie that made fun of it too, but yeah, that editing and stuff of slow motion and things like that. That's always been sort of a famous thing that when you take like a class on editing or stuff, they'll talk about it. And so that kind of reminded me of that. I didn't know a lot of people think of it just because of De Palma's Untouchables, but actually he kind of tipped his hat to Battleship Potemkin. So,
yeah, so that's what I knew of. I knew the Untouchables, and because it instead of the baby carriage, it was gumballs or something else.
Yeah, I think in the original there's like soldiers and there's a woman and her baby carriage goes down like the stairs and stuff. And so yeah, for some reason that kind of reminded me of that, just the people, and it just made it so much more, the use of slow motion really worked to sort of create the ominous feeling in the film. You know, when it like the kid, although it's like, if I drop my candy, I'm not going to eat it, but I guess kids don't really care.
No,
don't really care about it.
5 seconds.
Or take it from a stranger too. Ew.
Although I will say, Jeff, I did like their logical thoughts, their logical reasonings behind things to a certain degree. Although I'm like, I'm going to make sure somebody's dead. I'm just not going to hit him and just run.
Oh, right. Well,
that'd be the only thing that I had
seen that so many times I forgot.
Yeah.
They don't know about double tap yet.
Finish it. He's down.
Yeah, well, she did try to trap him in there. She just didn't know the kid.
Well, and I gotta tell you, Doc, I gave something else away because I looked at Ricardo Islas' character's name in IMDb and stuck it in the translator, and it translates to eye-eating killer.
No.
So I decided since his name in Spanish was that, it wasn't too hidden.
No. It's there. It's in black and white. You just gotta know what it means. Yeah. So the eye-eating killer, that when that's revealed, that really got me. I was like, oh, that's gruesome. And that poor kid is totally foobarred for life at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost feel like that if they make a sequel to it, he's going to be the next killer.
Oh, well, that's why it was in the 90s, and so they can bring it into.
It could be current, right? Yeah, I will say I agree with Crystal. That theater has so much character. I've never seen a theater that huge before and have so many sort of. I mean, some of like the bigger multiplexes have little cubby holes and places you can hide, because I've worked on those type of things before. But like that basement, what the hell's up with that basement with the sparks and stuff? I'm like, maybe they didn't get that fixed.
Yeah.
That seems like a OSHA problem.
The theater I worked in
Yeah.
had a balcony, and then also these really old parts of town, they doubled as stages, so you go behind the screen and there's ladders and stuff going way up high with catwalks and all kinds of stuff up there, and a creepy basement. So.
Yeah. I wonder if you go down to the Durham Theater, or what was it, the downtown Durham, Christopher, what's it called?
Carolina Theater.
Downtown
Theater,
Durham. I bet
I'm sure that's got some weird.
I bet that's good. Yeah. They've all been modernized now, but anyway, there's really I don't know what else to talk about other than the gore, because that's really, once it starts getting into it, there's, like you said, at least 3 very interesting kills, maybe 4 if you count the projector one. But
although I will say, Crystal said that the first thing was kind of off screen, but it wasn't, because you actually see inside the head.
I know.
Yeah.
It does have a little bit of gore to it. So.
But you don't know what you're not entirely certain what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But
you kind of assume, but yeah, it got my attention though. I think it forced you to pay more attention. as
Yeah.
well. It might
I
have been
did-
a smart play, you know.
I did clap when the manager got killed because I'd never thought about if you just took a puff of smoke
Yep.
and somebody slit your throat, that smoke's going to come out. I was like,
I
I've never
loved
seen that before.
Oh my God,
I
I
was
know,
like,
me
that is
too.
That is
I was
brilliant.
like, that's awesome.
I've
I mean,
never
I know
seen
it was
that.
too much, and I know that is not what it would look like or not realistic, but I didn't care. Okay, I did not care. I was like, I like
That
the
was
little
great.
smoking.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the lead's name, but I thought the two main females, the one that was a projectionist and the one that was with the two guys, so that must be Luciana Grasso and Julieta Spinelli. I thought they were excellent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They were really good.
But I don't think anybody's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't-
But they have a little bit bigger parts, and they were very, very good
Well, especially
playing the parts they're given.
Yeah, especially toward the end when it's the battle of the final girl. Who's going to be the final girl? Right.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Gotta have that. Gotta have that trope. Yep. And
I pretty much figured who it was going to be.
oh yeah. That
But-
was obvious, but
But I didn't care. I mean, I gotta say, I know you said they didn't do much as far as character, but I think the characters were really developed for these people that we barely knew. I mean, like the dude who went down to talk to Brooke Shields. I was like, it's
that a
so
nickname?
weird. Yeah, remember? Yeah, because
He said she looked like Brooke Shields.
Brooke
I
Shields.
saw that, but I
from-
was like, is he just saying that? I guess 93, you would know who Brooke Shields is. Okay. Forget I
Yeah.
said that. Or would you?
And I
No,
was
you
like
would.
looking.
Yeah.
Anyway.
She had the eyebrows and the hair.
Yeah,
I knew who
but-
Brooke Shields was at 93.
No, I mean the character, the girl that he was attracted to that he thought looked like Brooke Shields had dark eyebrows and
Yeah,
hair,
she
kinda
had
like
that.
Brooke
Yeah,
Shields.
that
Okay.
long brown hair.
But I thought that's the only part that I thought, God, that's so creepy and weird. But it worked for him,
it did.
and I was like, yeah. And I mean, it kind of leads you to believe that guy kind of gets what he wants when he wants it. You know, he's like, I've never done this before.
When he's primping his hair before he goes down there, I was like, man, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I
Well, his friend
liked all
seemed
the
shocked.
characters. Well, but
Yeah.
she's like, no, she was like, see, I knew it. He was gonna do
Oh,
it.
okay.
I knew he would get it done. The other dude was like, he's just jelly.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't have that game. Yeah.
The other guy just
then-
felt like he stepped out of the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was the only one that thought that. He just felt like somebody from the 90s.
Yeah. And then the date, I just think it was also, I think they were all so well developed. Like, she was so hilarious. His date was, I loved her. She was so funny. She was like, oh, I just remembered. I have a birthday party. So, you know, I'm just dead. I just think that was so funny. I was like, okay, this is crazy. I don't know.
That
I
was
found
that
very
was her
entertaining.
version of being thoughtful, right?
Yeah, she was. hmm She's like, see, I like you.
Here's a parting gift.
Whoops.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't know how to clean himself up. It's like,
Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. And what was on his butt? Was that
Blood.
blood?
he
That
fell
was
on that
blood.
newspaper that had blood on it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because I was like, where did that come from? Oh, yeah. Okay. I missed
Yeah, I
that.
was kind of worried they were going to pull something where the girl was going to think he was the killer.
Right. But somebody he would.
But they didn't go there, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Didn't have time. No
Yeah.
time.
Everything was so fast after that.
All right, so yeah, the last thing to talk about is ice cream scooper.
every should be in every serial killer's
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Yeah, toolkit, yeah. Oh, Van Helsing toolkit. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene for the last matinee. But before we do, if you're still listening, we want to thank you for hanging out with us. We hope you enjoyed not only this review, but many others on the site that we have for you. And if you'd like to help us out, it's easy and free to do. Hit the subscribe button down below or share with a friend. That will do wonders. Hit that bell and say all so you get notified for more. Even better.
Hit it with the ice cream scooper.
That was actually a melon baller. That's what we used to
it was a melon baller.
Yeah.
Was it? But they have ice cream scoops that do that.
They do,
Yeah.
but
It was smaller.
That one wasn't.
It was
not
smaller.
a big enough scoop for me.
No,
Oh, that
no,
makes
no.
sense.
Yeah, maybe it's for gelato.
Ooh.
Gelato. Leave some comments down below. All right, Christopher G. Mohr, you're up
Gelato.
first. Ah.
Yes. That's actually really good. Damn.
Final
Your
thoughts,
score.
your score, and favorite scene, sir.
7 years of improv skills. Still got it. I enjoyed this film, and and again, maybe I'm kind of also biased because I used to work in a movie theater and I used to splice together movies that broke and do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I love that they were sort of going for that Giallo feel. I mean, there's even that one scene where they literally have red and green in the same shot. So there's some really beautiful shot stuff. I think I will say that there are a few places where the editing when it comes to action seems a little haphazard and doesn't really work, doesn't really connect. And I don't know if it's just because they didn't have the best selection of shots. But it seemed to only happen sometimes with the action stuff. So I think that's the only thing that came off a little less polished. But yeah, I thought the characters were interesting, and it definitely has some amazing kills that I was like, oh, that's awesome, or I haven't seen that before. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I'd probably give this a 4 out of 5. I think it's a really sort of fun slasher Giallo type thing that I wouldn't really expect from Argentina. So I think I definitely would be interested. And I love the killer. Although maybe I feel like they should do a double feature of backward creep in this film with the eye gouging. As for favorite scene, I could probably pick any of the kills, but just to sort of go into my sort of love of cinema, I'll say the projector kill was something I hadn't really. I mean, you've seen kind of blood go on a screen before, but I don't think I've ever seen somebody shove their head inside the projector and then the blood shines on the screen red.
Actually, I really liked her face there too. As she went like, knowing what's coming.
I know, she's like, no!
There's a lot of really, I think the cinematography in places is cool because they just really hone in on the eyes, which again is very Giallo. So I love that. So I think that's probably out of all the kills, even though I loved a good number of the kills, the inventive kills, that's probably my favorite just because of the being killed by a projector.
Killed by a projector.
Yeah, so that's probably my favorite scene.
Did you give a score?
Yeah, he did.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Thank you, sir. Crystal, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene.
I know. I love how I answer from. I'm like, yep, I already know what you're gonna ask. Yes, for. But okay, I liked it a lot as well. It's beautiful. It's just it's really a good looking film. I was kind of surprised at the quality of the shots and the overall look. I just really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 3.75.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I would like a little backstory of the killer. That would have really upped it for me. But yeah, I didn't need it. I didn't care. Not really. It was fine. And my favorite scene, clearly, like the moment it happened, I knew it was my favorite scene. And it's the it's the iron rod kiss. I don't want to give it away.
Yes.
But I was like, yeah.
Yes.
I was like, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And then later it was really cool too.
It was so. I just love how it like stayed and how he's like, okay, there you are.
What are they doing? They haven't moved.
Yeah, it's funny. It was clever.
It was Jeff Mohr, sir. This is about as far away from a Jeff Mohr film as I could think. But that doesn't mean Jeff Mohr doesn't like it. Let's find out. Jeff, what was your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene?
Well, I don't know. I kept saying, "What the f?" Every time.
There you go.
Every time a different kill came up. I love this. Go see it. It is very, very much like in the Giallo style. Even the music, I caught some
Mhm.
strains of
Oh,
music that
yeah.
were very similar.
Synthy.
Anyway, I actually love this. I'm going 4.25 on it.
Nice.
Oh, yay.
And for the I needed this one.
Yeah, it's been a
needed this
while
one.
since there's one I've
Um,
really liked. Yeah.
So, favorite scene. Wow, there's so many. Do I want to take gore or do I want to take? Yeah, I'll do gore. I'll take what the without getting too specific, what the killer does to himself after
Oh, yeah.
he's
Snip, snip.
step. Yeah, yeah.
That'll make you
That
wonder what the hell he's
That was
snipping.
great. That was great. Yeah, lots of stuff to snip.
No.
Oh,
right.
Creepers.
yeah. Wow.
Step back. I enjoyed this. I didn't think I would, but I did. It really does feel, more Giallo than slasher films, and of course, slasher films, American slasher films, derived from Giallo films, and this it's really interesting, how they played that on top of this even more so, and it really works. But it is story wise straightforward, shallow. That's what it is. It's not doesn't have a lot of depth, but it moves pretty quickly, and I actually found myself caring for the last group of people, and when the one thing happens in Christopher's favorite scene, I actually was kind of like, no,
Kind of sad.
no,
Yeah.
I didn't care about the rest, but by that
Me
time I
too.
did, right? So,
Yeah. Yep.
and I was a little worried, if they would, where else they were going to go, but so I really enjoyed it. If you're an A24 kind of, and that's all you like, this movie not for you. But if you like, your slasher films and your gore fest, what many of our fans that watch our shows actually do go for fans of the 80s I think are really going to enjoy this. It is a lot of fun, and it did make me feel like I was back watching those slasher films in the 80s and we've had discussions like, where are the slasher films? We don't really get good slasher films anymore, and here's one. This is one. My score is a 4.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be an honorable mention, if not in the list. I really enjoyed this. And my favorite scene, I'm going to take. It's a longer scene, and it is kind of gory, but it's not a kill gore. Kill. It's it's when the killer traps our final girls in the screening in the projection room, and it's the first time they've kind of gotten face to face, and we know who he is, and there's a series of scenes that involve him and eyeballs that just kept grossing me out more and more. Everyone, and I loved it that the one girl tried to cover the kid's eyes.
Yeah. Oh.
And he's like, poor guy. He pisses his pants earlier, and he was cried. I don't know.
He was tough. Honestly, he was pretty tough. Like,
yeah,
he was more scared, I think, watching the horror movie than.
No, he was effed up by the end of the movie. Second thing is going to be, the second time we have the De Palma down the stairs scene.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite awesome, especially because of how. Yeah, I thought they did a great job, but I was thinking, man, I was thinking film school, but I was thinking De Palma. I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, as we know, De Palma pays homage to a lot of other filmmakers.
A lot.
And that might be people's only exposure to those type of techniques is because of his homage. I'm a huge De Palma fan, so I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he apes from others. I mean, a lot of filmmakers do that. Even the best filmmakers copy from others. So,
well,
Scorsese,
there's nothing wrong with that as long as you make it your own.
Nothing,
Like,
nothing is ever new. It's just it's a new iteration.
Because Spielberg did the Hitchcock zoom, right? So
Yeah.
right, and
I mean, yeah, there's like so many things that you can find that they, I mean, even like, what was it? The Shining. There's parts of The Shining that he aped from an old silent film. So shot for shot. So
Phantom
yeah.
Carriage. Yeah.
hmm Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, but it works for what you need it for. And this one, if you use slow motion the right way, it gets you all tense, like, oh, what's going to happen? That kind of stuff. So, and that just shows you that when you can do really good things with the camera work and stuff, how you can sort of get your audience sort of watching on every little detail of what's about to happen.
So now we want the sequel. I guess it's going to be the
Yeah, I
next
would love
matinee.
to see another one.
All right, the next
matinee.
This is also listed as an alternate title, Red Screening.
I like that.
Oh, I like that.
I like that
yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The last matinee is kind of fun too, but.
Oh yeah,
but it's not a matinee. That's why I asked what a matinee was, because I thought that's what it was, and so technically it's not.
Unless it was daylight when they went.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
I can't.
It was nighttime.
It was a dark
She's
and
like,
stormy
"You need to go home,
afternoon."
Daddy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there
Well,
you
it
go.
was daylight when they went in there. It was daylight.
Yeah.
So maybe they went to a matinee and then it became night.
But then they closed up. They didn't
Well, that
have
kid
enough-
was
They closed
definitely
early.
staying longer than he was supposed to.
I don't know. We're it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But then you don't worry about a jar full of stuff.
No. Well, thank you for hanging out with us and joining us for the review of The Last Matinee. This was a lot of fun. Crystal, Jeff, thank you. Christopher, thank you for joining us.
We need to market a concession called Jar Full of Stuff,
Jar full of stuff.
and it's a surprise. Whatever.
Yeah, it was in the film. It was a rush roulette, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Will I
like
get the special one or not? For a second, I thought Don froze again.
All right. With that, let's say goodnight.
good night.
Good night, everybody.
Say goodnight,
Oh,
everybody. One more time.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.